to the bottom right of the map with more than 60 games played and a 70% win ratio against Protoss, the StarTale player. It is
StarTale Life.
The best choice for Ace, I think, bar none.
Definitely for this matchup. They expected, of course, the Protoss to come out for Seoul, the GSL champion, starting to the bottom left of Frost. He is
Soul Deer.
He just played the GSL finals. He was up against the Zerg player. He practiced for this matchup like a maniac. He has a 65% win ratio in total, and he took down Su with an overwhelming 4-2, making it look easy at times. Going now into the series, everything is on the line. This map is going to decide who's going to win the team match today.
Yeah, it all comes down to this. It's a 4-player map. Much like Whirlwind, you know, 2 maps in this map pool that have 4 spawning locations. This is actually my favorite map in all of StarCraft 2 right now, by far. It actually produces, for me, the best games. And I think that also explains more. I mean, not to say that this is the only reason, but I think this is one of many reasons why Haiva did not come out as the ace. He's come out as the ace so many times, actually, this season. But they don't want to use him to play on a 4-player map. It just doesn't suit his style. Deer, on the other hand, just every reason you could think of to put an ace player out, it just all comes together. Life goes gas before pool here, and it's a Nexus first for Deer.
Exactly, and we have him with the Forge play here, of course, as a follow-up. So this is going to be real good. Now we have this epic match between the two of them. Life is going into this aggressive style. We saw it earlier already when he played against the Protoss player that he really loves to go for these counter-aggressions. We had Protoss trying to put a bit of pressure on him, and he immediately reacted after just crushing Huang Xin's early attack with a counter-aggression.
I think is he gonna cannon here? He's faking it. Nah, he doesn't do it. Nah, But, you know, he scared Life a little bit. Does send 1 drone down. And that's okay.
But you always have to be careful. And he had an overload there. He sent the drone out, and he's now with the drone still at the bottom. And he's like, well, if you do, I will be there. I will block. I will pull the rest of my harvesters, and then I will be ready. Double Queen, of course, immediately going down. And Speed also coming up really early in the game here. That will give him a little bit of map control and also scouting information. Since at this point, he doesn't really know what's happening. He has an idea of where exactly the deer spawns, that he's at the bottom left, most likely. But the overlord went to the top right first, so he doesn't really know. Second overlord, a lot of Zerg players will send it out right away, but then there's always the risk of you being attacked with the cannons. And he decided to just keep an overlord near the hatch at the natural, so to make sure that he sees an incoming probe and can react if there is a pylon.
Yeah. You basically covered it there. That's exactly what that Link's doing. But I have to say, like, I wonder what build Deer is going to go for, because the games that he played against Su were really like calculated. You could tell each build was a little bit different for the map and against Su's style. But against Life, I think he's just gonna go Phoenix and take a 3rd base on this map, because we're at those positions. We talk about this a lot. There's the Stargate. We're at those positions where there's that little bridge to the south, and the Zerg actually has to walk so far if he doesn't want to engage at that choke point. And if you do engage that choke point, it's usually not a good thing.
And this is also one of the map where you have the choice to make where to expand, and Life expands, so to say, a bit towards his opponent. Something that you would usually like to dodge, but the way how Frost works, we see that actually a lot. The bridge, as mentioned before, the Bridge of Doom, as we sometimes call it, because there's always just a slaughter happening if both players are spawning on the same side of the map, was just on screen a few seconds ago.
Yeah, there's not enough bridges in StarCraft 2 maps right now. Map makers, listen up. There's not enough bridges. Bridges are actually a fun mechanic.
I'm not so sure about that. Like, you remember the old times of like siege up positions with Terrans and bridges or choke points?
Not a whole lot of bridges, but like every now and then, like 1 bridge to the south, I'm like, that's cool. There's 1 to the north as well, of course. It's mirrored, but
something like that.
I'm not talking about like destination, but like just,
you know. Right now, Life feels a little bit uncomfortable, because for him the problem is he has no overlords in his opponent's space, so he does not know what's coming. When we saw him play against Huang Xin and others, one of the things that really stands out, that even with the delayed send out of the second overlord, he usually gets an inkling of what's going on. But as it is, that Phoenix is looking for overlords, he doesn't find anything. He's like, what? Where are they actually? And he's still looking.
Yeah, it's actually it's so funny how this works.
Yeah. So he's gonna be the overlord at the top is gonna be taken out by the Phoenix, and then Life will of course know, well, you have a Stargate opening, but that hits him very late and he has to react. think about if some kind of gateway aggression would have come his way. He has nothing to tell how that's coming in. So that's a problem that he has right now, and he's probably pretty happy to see that there are Phoenixes in the game, because that's kind of what you expect. That's kind of what it's about right now.
I just had a thought. Can a Phoenix lift a critter? I never tried to do that.
Why would he?
I don't know, just if, just, like, what if it was a critter nearby and you accidentally lifted it by mistake, I wonder... I just thought about that. So anyways...
Transfuse!
Nope. He doesn't lose a whole lot of Overlords because of the lack of scouting information like you talked about before, so it's not too bad for him, and actually he's got the spores ready.
Yeah, and
probes, or drones rather.
What we actually see is 5 Phoenixes in total, and it's gonna be... Like, Dia is one of those players that has a really good unit control, and he already picked up a few Harvesters, and now he even gets a Queen. That's something where Life is really not going to be too happy about this. He gets 10 Hydralisks right away, and he goes for the range upgrade instead of speed, but he's losing a lot to this, and the unit control of Dia is exceptional.
Yeah.
So that's already very annoying. 5 Harvesters and a Queen.
I think it's time for...
good.
I think it's time for the 3rd Nexus. I think he's going to go take it. He's definitely going to take the one to the south, like 100%. That one Phoenix has 4 hit points. Life actually could have targeted that a few times with his spores. Most people don't target spores, but...
He needs to get those Hydras in a good place.
Yeah.
He needs to be careful too, because...
Yeah,
there we go.
And he targeted too. You saw that. You picked the weak one on purpose. Oh, that one could have maybe finished it, but... As is the Phoenix pressure is now done because he's got all his Hydras together. But
that was pretty cool what he was trying to do. He didn't really accomplish it, but he was trying to just split his Hydra force into 3 parts and trap those Phoenixes. He didn't quite make it happen because he didn't have enough on the map, and he needs to be careful that the Hydra numbers are not too small so that the Phoenixes can't fight them. But now he's even moving out. But the thing is, he expects the 3rd base to be there. He was moving in with the Zergling, and he saw the pylon, and he saw also the units over there, so he expected a 3rd, and he would like to take that out, but it's not there yet. So he just tries to move in, and he has been spotted.
Yep. And the first Deer Ray is in production. Oh, good flank here! Every angle. Where are the force fields? There aren't any.
There we go.
Question here. There's some.
Where's the Mothership Core? It's gone.
It's gone. Here comes the first Colossus on the other hand.
Yeah, the Colossus is gonna help him, but Life is gonna fight. He's trying to make it work. The Zerglings are still there.
Phoenixes, here they come!
He's going for it. He's lifting the Hydras, and he's taking them already out, and now he's pushing the issue. He's going to the bottom right, trying to push Life back. The force fields are good, trapping all of the Hydralists, and Life is losing so much here.
He's losing so much. The Colossus micro here, very nice. And he picks up a Hydra. He actually should be able to save the Colossus. It's going to be close.
He's just barely able to save it. Yes!
Yes, he does. And now he's actually at a Harvester lead. Well, it tied up now, 55-55. Never where you want to be as a Zerg. Life is full aggression right now. Kills that Colossus. Hydra speed is almost done. He starts Corruptors. But Void Rays are on the way.
Yeah, Void Rays are on the way. Life starting his Corruptors. Here comes the Nexus for Dia. And the GSL champion with really good moveset, trapping all of those Hydralists. The force fields were good. The speed for the Hydralists not done. And Dia, he saw a chance and he took it immediately. He had the Observer at the perfect position to spot the Hydralists. And now the Phoenix is once again on the prowl, taking down another Queen. Not quite, but his second lift takes it.
The second lift does take it. And he only has 1 Colossus. That snipe on the Colossus earlier was so important. But... I don't know, man. He's getting a late Roach Warren here, which I do like, but...
This move that we just saw, I love it so much that Life, in every situation, even when he's behind an army supply, he's just trying to find an opening to send those links in, but Dia was ready, and so many Protoss players would have had a gap there that Life could have used, but both of them trying to play like a really flawless game here in terms of defense. Hydralisks, and now also a few Corruptors up against the Phoenixes, and he actually is able to take down one of them.
Yeah, he's gonna have some trouble with the Void Rays, though. Also, remember, there's no blink. There's no blink, actually, so chasing the Corruptors is a little bit of a challenge here. Twilight Council just finished, and he's gotta move those Colossi back the wrong way, man. There you go. And
nice snipes. I really like the snipes that he has. Good micro so far.
Yeah, really good micro from both, actually. You know, you never see Phoenixes chasing the Corruptor, but only in this case it made sense. Nice pick off on the Colossus there as well.
Going for the hit and run, and the last hit's always moving back a little bit and then back in again. That one Observer, on the other hand, that Dia still has there is just worth its weight in gold for him. Here comes the overcharge for the Void Rays, and another attempted snipe at the Phoenixes as the Corruptors move back and forth.
Oh, the Hydra's on the high ground! Excellent! Excellent! He actually could pick off some Phoenixes. Overcharge on the Void Rays, they're not going to help him too much. This is actually, these two players are microing against each other like crazy. This is what brings a good player away from like a legendary player. A legendary player like these guys actually know exactly just where to poke.
This is so awesome. It's these small things that both of them do. Just give him the Hydra kill there, maybe a Phoenix on the other hand. Then we have a couple of probes going down.
He stands his ground, you know? He's not going to walk away. And here we go.
Oh, he's going for it. He's sniping those to the lost side. At the same time, the Hydralists are trying to chase out as many of the void rays as they possibly can. The Colossus is down. He has another one, though, and most of the Hydralists are already gone.
Yeah, I don't know if he should have stuck around that long. Now the Bridge of Doom, and the Hydras get trapped there. The last of the Corruptors starting to fall, and Life now is in trouble composition-wise. He's trying to make Roaches, but they don't even, if I'm not mistaken, have Roach speed yet.
He's 3 base against 3, and that's not where you want to be. He has a big problem there. He's already chased back by Dia, the Protoss player, moving in. The GSTL champion is on the move, showing his skills here, showing why he's the champion, why Su didn't stand a chance against him. The Void Rays on the high ground, protecting the Colossus, and that third base is under so much pressure now.
Yeah, Blink and +2 closing the gap here, and now tide's turned as far as high ground advantages go. He's trying to do what he can. He picks off the Mothership Core. One small victory here for Life, but it's going to take a lot more than that to win this game. He's got drones even off the line here, and more Warpins. The Immortal coming out here, I love it, because it's just going to reinforce a little bit faster.
Upgrades coming in more and more for Dia and the Soul player. He might be able to pull the victory.
Some force fields here.
The first victory this season. Here comes the overcharge for the Void Rays. The Colossus is down.
The Colossus is down. Drones falling here as well.
And that's all that he wanted. He wanted to go in and take the Colossus down, and then he falls back. He's waiting for the overcharge to go away so that he can dart in once again. The Roaches are on their way, trying to muscle their way through the ranks of the Stalkers, but there are so many of them. Both of them on exactly the same number of army supply, but the high ground goes to the Protoss player, who denies mining at the third base.
He's going to have 2-1 versus no upgrades for the ranged units, none at all, 0-0. And if he actually just keeps doing this, the mining at this base is interrupted, so he will actually eventually have to push his back. One Roach actually forces a defensive warp in here, and it looks like Life is actually going to push this back. It's a little bit of an edge for him now when it comes to that engagement, but the next one, you know, the person who has the concave at this is always going to win the fight. No Colossi to help out here.
The one thing that Life wants right now is Fungals and Banelings and Overlords, but that's something that he can't get. And we have him at this point really down in supply and at least able to force his opponent back a little bit. But the position for Dia is just getting better and better in this game.
Yeah, and Life needs a 4th base. But all he can do right now is defend. Time Warp is good here.
Oh,
he blinks through the gap.
He goes in. He wants to take it. And the DPS is just too much for Life to handle. Those
it's way too much.
Through.
The upgrades as well here. The Colossus pushes its way. The Guardian Shield is up. The Time Warp as well. Another forward blink, and that's going to close it. GG!
Game over. In Seoul, they win their first match in the GSTL.
Wow, wow, wow. What an incredible game. 2 incredible players. And, you know, Deer showing he still is on top.
Yeah.
And that's Seoul's first win. They have a point on the scoreboard. They would have liked to win it with a cleaner score, but at least now they have 1 point on the scoreboard. And Life will be frustrated about that loss. A tough game, tough positions on that map for Zerg, I feel, at that bridge. It's really, really difficult. And the build that we saw from Deer was a build that kind of directly defends against what Life was putting at him. You know, he had the faster Colossus tank. He didn't have a 3rd base.
Well, this is pretty cool to see how Life was roaming the map with those Corruptors and always going in for a snipe, taking down a Phoenix, taking down a Colossus, going for what he could get. But at the same time, Deer didn't leave him too many opportunities to take down units. Other players would have made more mistakes for Life to exploit. And Deer is just good enough to make sure that the losses are at a minimum.
Yeah. Well, StarTale had a close run against Seoul last time and won it. This time, the same happened, except they lost it. And, you know, I'm starting to see what you're saying about Bomber's hair, though. I liked it at first. Maybe it was just a flash of it, but now I'm like, nah, I'm not so sure.
It's a bit weird, yeah.
Yeah. But, congratulations to Seoul. They've done it, and, you know, I eat my words. I came here thinking there's no way, even with the lineups, that they were going to take it. Absolutely no chance. And they win it. Their first win this season.
I mean, I want to see the rankings right now because they still have a shot.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of things that have to happen, and this was only the first step. They need FX Open to lose, or maybe even StarTale to lose the next matches. That would also help them. But they still have a chance of actually advancing. They just have to make sure that they kind of win every single game from now on.
Yeah.
And with most of the individual leagues already gone, Team League becomes more and more important for the teams. So therefore, they can focus on that.
Exactly. So, I guess for the top guys going to BlizzCon, they don't want to show their strategies. They want to focus on that a little bit maybe. But for everybody else, it's definitely time to focus. And, Code A qualifiers, I don't even those dates have been announced yet. So it's just like focus on Team League. So it's going to be pretty exciting going on here. And I'm just happy that we have a team, that is able to win and get that momentum against a really good team, StarTale. So for Seoul, they're got to be thinking, okay, all right, we can do this. Actually, we can beat the other teams too.
Was maybe a little bit too late, but it's at least, they have a shot now. It's like still very, very unlikely that they are going to achieve anything this season. This victory might have come a little bit too late, but they at least have still their hopes that they can achieve something there.
Yeah, so I want to hear the interview. I want to see what they have to say, because that's going to be really interesting to see just kind of like what he says, this was important for us. We really want to take this still. We're hoping, we got our fingers crossed, or we're just happy we took one game. Some of the thoughts was, why did you choose Deer for the final player? The choices are kind of obvious, but just want to hear what he has to say about it.
Something like, it would actually be amazing if Seoul is able to get back into the season.
Yeah.
That would be crazy. And at this point, there are a couple of scenarios where they could make it. They just need a few of the other teams to do. So they need one team to be kind of the punching bag now.
Yeah, instead of them. And FX Open is the closest one to that right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Going to have an interview. It's our first time, actually, with the Seoul coach.
So, of course, they ask him immediately how he feels after they finally got their first win here.
시즌 초반에는 한두 경기 정도는 저희가 아직 안정되지 않아서 질 수 있다고 생각했었는데 이렇게까지 첫 승하는데
He thought when they lost a sponsor, they might actually struggle in the first two matches or so. But they actually struggled a lot longer than they thought, and it took a lot more time to get their first win.
그렇게 많이 부담을 안 주려고 노력했는데 속으로는 많이 아쉽긴 했어요. 계속 이기고 싶다. 팀이
So he really didn't want his players to be pressured about the team league.
개인 리그에서 먼저 나와줘서 그게 이제
So
팀리그까지 다시 번질
he didn't really say anything to the players, but he personally was actually very disappointed of how the season went so far inside. So he didn't really put them on the spot there. Didn't want too much pressure on them, but now he's quite happy that they were able to win the first win, and he hopes that it carries over a little bit to the next matches so that they can perform better here.
Yeah, exactly. So that's that kind of step back is sometimes necessary. Any comments to your players?
사실 오랜만에 팀리그에서 이기게 해줘서 고맙고
It's like Deer don't matter Nexus anymore.
He says thanks, he's very thankful they finally got their first win. It's been a long time since we won in the team league, and the first win came a little bit late, but let's do our best in the remaining matches, and maybe we can become champions in the next season.
They still have a shot this season. Yes, it's unlikely. We talked about it, and I don't want to go on about it 5 times, but this is they have a shot. There is a chance that they can go back. He's right. I explained it earlier. It's a little bit late in the season, but there's definitely an opportunity for them. Actually, the Korean commentator says it. So he says if you actually win the rest of your games, you still have a good chance. So you want to ask him if he wants to comment on that.
His answer is that obviously I want to win all the matches, but especially against Axiom Acer, he wants to win because innovation is in that team. So basically the coaches accept that it's a very unlikely possibility for them to get through, but he does want to win the matches and they do care. So now we're going to hear from Deer. Who's become quite a celebrity here in Korea.
So he's being asked how it feels to contribute the most to the first team victory in the GSTL. And he's just saying that he really feels sorry for the fans, or for their fans, because they were losing so much in the GSTL so far, and he's kind of happy for the fans because they won their first match so far, and he of course wants to go into the rest of the season and win all of the games from now on.
그냥 약간 자신감이 올라간 것도 있고, 근데
there's a lot of responsibility on his shoulders now, being the GSL champion and kind of the one who has to carry the team. He's able to make that happen.
So his confidence level these days are really, really high, and that helps me play better games. And our opponent's team was really good, so I wanted to show some actual good and fun matches today. And you know, that feeling of like my opponent's really good, and I want to actually show some good games actually helped him prepare for
Rising with the challenge.
Yeah, exactly. You know, getting that pumped up feeling that you get. He said he was actually a little bit nervous in the ace match, but I'm doing very well against Zerg, and obviously I prepared for the finals against the Zerg, so I felt pretty confident playing against the Zerg. So basically what he said was he was really nervous, but then he was like, wait a minute, I've played against a Zerg player, then he was really confident.
I just won the individual league, yeah.
네, 이렇게 쳤을
Any final comments to your fans?
앞으로 경기 다 이길 수 있도록 하겠고, 그리고 시즌 파이널도 있는데 네, 거기서도 잘 하겠습니다. 네, 많이 응원해 주세요.
네, 오늘 축하드립니다. 아, 멋진 경기 보여주셨습니다.
He's just basically saying like he wants to do well in all of his future games. He's got the big season 3 finals, the global finals, I guess he's referring to there for BlizzCon coming up to prepare for. So cheer for him there. And, you know, if you're a high-level StarCraft fan, you should, because Deer is one of the best up-and-coming players that we have now. And he won this Team League for his team. He won the ace match, so...
And against life of all players, so that was really like the clash. I mean, we talked about the preparation, of course, for the finals, but he was playing the exact same matchup that definitely came into play today too. But live in this particular Zerg versus Protoss matchup is also quite the play. I mean, he's like a master of this matchup. So, of course, with a little bit of more preparation, I would like to see a best of 7 between them. Like next season finals, go live.
Yeah, that would be sick.
That would be pretty good.
Yeah, I would love to see... I actually want to see how well Deer does in BlizzCon, you know? There's so many good players in that tournament. That tournament is like only the best players in the world are at that tournament, so it's going to be epic. Definitely, for sure.
I mean, finally Seoul got their first win, and for them it's really important to have that first victory to also give them a little bit more confidence going into the rest of the season. They still have a chance, but they need to kind of win every single one of the matches that they still have. And of course, here we have another quick look at the match results before we are taking a look at the standings.
Yep.
And here we go. Last time in the first round of the GSTL Season 2, we had StarTale taking it with a 4-3 over Seoul, and this time it's exactly the reverse.
Yep. Deer able to take that ace match on Frost against Life. Epic game. Epic series today as well.
Most of the matches going as people expected. Haiva and Trap taking the other wins for the team, and Deer performing twice for Seoul, twice successful. Life, the one that could not make it happen in the last game, but still 5th place for Seoul.
Yeah, they only get 1 point to their indicator, which I talked about a little bit earlier as being kind of annoying for them, but at least they got that win. And now, you know, if Epic's Open or StarTale drops below them, they do have a small, very, very tiny chance of advancing to the playoffs.
They need one of the teams to do really badly, and they need to win their matches. So FX Open screwing up in the future games, this is the best hope that they currently have.
Well, it was a good day of matches today, Keller. I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Now on Thursday we have, at night at 6 p.m., FX Open versus Axiom Acer, and FX Open really wants a win here because they do not want to drop below. Axiom Acer, of course, at the front. They want to keep their excellent win ratio, but man, for FX Open it's really, really important.
Yeah, for FX Open it's quite important. They already had that important game against Seoul this season, and that was kind of one of the pivotal games that we had so far. But going up against Axiom Acer is not going to be easy for FX Open, and of course Seoul is going to watch that very closely too. If Axiom Acer is able to defeat them, and maybe then Seoul is able to get another victory this season, that would already help them quite a bit. So yeah, they still have a little bit of a good one.
Yeah, they certainly do. So it was actually really surprising to me today. I'm like actually in a state of excited happiness right now that Seoul was able to win the match today.
I'm happy that they actually won the match, because it would have, like, if they would have lost today, then they would have been out. There would have been no chance for them anymore to advance. So from that point on, they probably wouldn't have really thought too much about the matches there. Yeah. So at this point, they still have a little bit of hope left, and that's something that we could definitely see come into play in the rest of the season. So kind of interesting that we saw that. Of course, it's a little bit unfortunate for StarTale players. We're done for the day, guys. I hope that you enjoyed the matches on the show. Gonna see you on Thursday for the next match here at the GSTL. Bye.